Something happened in the early hours of this Wednesday in a town near the edge of Nigeria. A large group of armed men moved through the darkness. They came prepared. They came with weapons, with drones, with a plan. But they did not get what they came for. Troops of Operation Hadin Kai, in close coordination with the Nigerian Air Force, neutralized no fewer than 61 ISWAP terrorists during a foiled infiltration attempt in Malam Fatori, Abadam local government area of Borno State. That number, 61, is significant, and as this story unfolds, you will understand why this matters far beyond the battlefield. Malam Fatori sits in the far north of Borno State, close to the border with Niger Republic, on the edge of Lake Chad. It is remote, it is strategic, and for years it has been one of the most contested areas in Nigeria's long war against terrorism. The communities there know what it means to live close to danger. So what exactly happened? Sources involved in the operation disclosed that the terrorists launched the attack in the early hours of Wednesday, advancing on foot and deploying armed drones in a desperate bid to breach the defenses of troops at the 68 Battalion location. The attackers came through the frontage of Bravo Company from the Duguri General area. This was not random. They chose a direction, a time, the dark hours before dawn, and brought technology with them. This group was organized, but so were the Nigerian troops waiting for them. The attackers were met with overwhelming firepower and superior coordination between ground forces and air components. Troops, supported by precision airstrikes, engaged the insurgents in a fierce battle that resulted in heavy casualties on the side of the terrorists. When ground forces engaged, air support came. The coordination between soldiers on the ground and aircraft above held decisively. We report this not to celebrate death, but to report honestly on a security development that affects real communities, communities of farmers, fishermen, traders, mothers, and children who have lived in fear for over a decade in Nigeria's northeast. If you find this reporting useful, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to this channel. Your support helps us continue this kind of careful, factual reporting. Now, let us put today's event in its proper context. ISWAP, the Islamic State West Africa province, split from Boko Haram in 2016. The 15-year-old conflict has killed nearly 40,000 people and displaced around 2 million from their homes. Behind every one of those numbers is a person, a family, a community changed forever. In recent weeks, ISWAP has been particularly active. A group under pressure can become a group that takes bigger risks, and that is precisely what we appear to be seeing. Earlier this week, Lieutenant Colonel Sani Uba, Media Information Officer for Operation Hadin Kai, said attacks mounted on March 16, 2026, came from several directions in a desperate attempt by the terrorists to gain a propaganda advantage and overrun military positions. Two words stand out: propaganda advantage. ISWAP does not only fight with weapons, they fight with perception. Every successful attack becomes a tool for recruitment, for fear, for influence. When their attacks fail, it damages that narrative. That is what makes today's outcome significant, not just militarily, but psychologically. What do we know for certain? At least 61 ISWAP fighters were neutralized. The attack involved both foot soldiers and armed drones. The Nigerian Army's 68 Battalion and the Nigerian Air Force both played roles in the response. No official statement on troop casualties has been released at the time of this script. The use of armed drones by ISWAP is a trend security analysts have been watching with concern. It represents an evolution in how this group fights. That means the Nigerian military must also continue to adapt. The precision airstrikes called in during Wednesday's engagement suggest the Air Force is increasingly integrated into rapid response operations. Operation Hadin Kai has reassured the public that all affected locations remain firmly under control of troops. But for the people of Malam Fatori, this assurance must be matched with something tangible, peace felt in the body, not just announced in a press release.
safety that allows a farmer to go to the field without fear, security that lets a child walk to school. No single engagement, however significant, ends an insurgency. The road ahead requires military strength, yes, but it also requires investment in communities, opportunities for young people, and governance that makes extremism less attractive. What happened in Malam Fatori today is a chapter, not a conclusion. There are people in Borno State who have been displaced for years, who have lost land, livelihoods, and loved ones. Their resilience deserves to be acknowledged. They have endured what many of us cannot fully imagine. Carry this with you, not as a story of war, but as a reminder of what peace costs and what it means to communities that have not yet fully tasted it. Nigeria's Northeast is part of all of us. Stay informed, stay thoughtful, and keep holding space for the people who live closest to this reality.